It all started with Talon stealing artifacts. But wait, who's that? Those boots, the drill, that perfect smile. It's Venture! Whoosh, flashback.
Hey guys, my name is Shroomy. I have a lot of different names and I just really like lore. So I wasn't exactly sure if the next short story or comic or whatever we got for our next lore drop was going to be something for Pride or if it was going to be something for the next hero and the next season. But we got our answer as of today. So this one is called Venture's Adventures, Deep Sea Deception. And it focuses on, well, kind of obvious, Venture, but also Lifeweaver and what's going on with those two in the present day. Now, this is a continuation of the Venture Adventures series, which started way back when Venture got revealed and they had a little tangle with Mauga and Talon over in Ilios, but seems to have moved on to here. This isn't exactly going to happen like right back to back. It is just another one of Venture's, well, adventures. So yeah, it is really cool to see this series continue. I'm interested to see where they could take this story in the future. If they keep doing random little pivots here, Venture could pretty much end up anywhere with kind of really small nods to everything with the Wayfinders, but that's something I'll save for later. So once again, this is going to be a quick video, just kind of talking about everything we learned in this comic, some of the lore nods that we got, but as well, doing a recap before all of that. Before we get too deep, don't forget to like and subscribe. That kind of stuff really helps the channel, and it shows me what you guys like about this kind of stuff, and what I can do better with. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into a quick summary of what exactly happens in this comic, because while it's not the longest comic, there are quite a few things that happen. Our story begins with Venture at the Atlantic Archaeology. The Wayfinders got a tip on ancient artifacts that were hidden nearby underwater, and Venture was tasked with bringing them back. Currently, they're sitting, waiting for their contact from the archaeology to meet with them. Here, Venture meets Narad, or Lifeweaver, and his lab partner, Palak. The three meet, and Venture gives a huge hug to Lifeweaver, and an introduction to the both of them. Soon, they begin their trip deep under the water, surrounding the archaeology. Down here, in the water, Lifeweaver explains that Super Coral, an advanced version of Coral in the Overwatch world, has grown exponentially, covering most of the area around the archaeology, but mainly the underwater museum, making it hard to access. Venture's drill can't even work here, this stuff is way too durable, and Weaver is forced to use a little bit more finesse with his tech instead. As they arrive, and Weaver begins working opening the door using BioLite technology, Venture and Palak begin to talk as they watch him work. Palak has a crush on Narad, and Venture encourages them to tell Weaver how they feel. But the two discuss how they feel isolated in the world, and Venture gives some friendly advice about how they have to choose the best path for them, not what others want for them. Eventually, Weaver gets the door open, and they enter the old museum. Inside, they find relics of all shapes and sizes, and even relics recently stolen. Suddenly, Talon appears, coming through a teleporter, alongside Domina. She explains she was stealing relics and hiding them here, all as a plot to get Lifeweaver's BioLite technology. The two groups clash, and after a small battle, Domina flees through a teleporter, leaving her men behind. As the building begins to crumble around them, Lifeweaver uses his platform to boost everyone out of the crumbling building, and Venture saves as many relics as they can. As they rest on the surface, Palak admits their feelings to Narad, and Lifeweaver gladly accepts. The two stare off at the sunset together, while Venture remains relaxed nearby. A job well done. So, yeah, bit of a short and sweet one. So there's a couple really cool things that happen here, and we'll get into that here soon, but the most important thing here is a new character, yes. So this is an entirely new character, Lifeweaver's lab partner, and they're in a relationship now too, so that's pretty cool. Palak is a brand new character who seems to be a scientist at the archaeology. This is something I think I've talked about before, wanting more characters from the archaeology. It's kind of only been Lifeweaver and the Martins as far as we know, so it is really cool to get just, well, another named character that kind of exists here. Now, I am curious to see what exactly they study, but then again, they do work with Lifeweaver, so it could just be BioLite and kind of advancing that area of science. However, maybe if we get more on this character in the future, we get to see more of them, obviously, and we can just kind of see what they do here exactly. Because the archaeology is kind of a really big lore place that does a ton of scientific evolution and just general science. Something I thought we would focus on or even bring up a little bit is how Lifeweaver is currently kind of helping Omnics here at the Arcology get a better idea of their own culture and create their own religion. Now, this is something I was kind of hoping would be mentioned, but obviously not be the focus of this story, since, well, you know, this story really doesn't have anything to do with the Arcology aside from being, like, near it. But yeah, that was just something I thought I'd bring up as well, because as far as we knew, Lifeweaver's main goal here, or main focus at the moment, at least during the Null Selector crisis, was helping them with that. And, of course, as for Venture and Domina, with Venture first, before getting into Domina, Venture's role here just kind of fits. Venture's always been a bit of a wild card. They can kind of pop up wherever you need them to go, and, well, this kind of works perfectly. I am happy to see another Pride story with Venture specifically, since it's been, man, it's been a while since we got something with Venture, basically around their launch. But yeah, so it is really cool to just see them again. Now, I am wondering when we're going to pick up on that Sombra plotline that was teased in the first Venture Adventures comic, but that's probably going to be something maybe we get into when the conspiracy gets more involved. And, of course, as for Domina, I was surprised to see her here, mainly because in the Pride story itself, every character or hero that's in it has some level of Pride significance. Obviously Lifeweaver, but of course Venture as well, so that does imply a little bit about Domina that's probably not being shown off or revealed to the audience just yet, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. Aside from all that with her, I do think it's really interesting that she does get these relics and hide them here. Now, it's kind of implied she's been hiding them here to get to Lifeweaver, but also this could just be a storage facility, and kind of both opportunities kind of coincide. Now, in the first Adventure with Ventures kind of thing, we saw that Mauga was getting relics specifically for Doomfist. Now, I've seen some people talking about maybe this was for Domina as well, but I don't really see it that way. If anything, I feel like Doomfist would not really prioritize these relics for this reason in particular, so maybe Doomfist wanted them for something else, but Domina's using the relics that she's collected and that Vishkar's given her to kind of set up her own little ploys and traps, but also she knows the significance of them and she knows what their deal is, essentially. So, Doomfist, yeah, he's probably doing something else with relics that we'll probably find out when he returns to the story. I wouldn't be surprised if Domina and Doomfist get an interaction about that eventually. But, yeah, it was also really, really cool to see Super Coral. So, if you guys watched my most recent video on the Deep Sea Raiders, I do explain what Super Coral is in it. I think I posted that yesterday at this point. Yeah, it was yesterday. And a lot of people have pointed out to me, like, you posted that yesterday and the story's out today and Super Coral's here, and I don't know, it was just a weird coincidence, but I thought it was really funny. And I am glad I mentioned it there so that we could kind of focus on it a tad more in here. And yeah. Now, something they don't talk about with Super Coral in the story itself is kind of the idea of it is it's kind of growing out of control. We've known that it surrounds the Arcology, and the Arcology kind of uses it as a defense system in a way, but seeing it even more now and how they kind of glossed over that little they can't control it area of the Super Coral story does bring up an important thing with it. There is no solution to Super Coral. You kind of just have to let it grow, or you have to hopefully let it die out. Of course, they're not going to be letting it die out, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't really do anything about the Super Coral growing and they just kind of keep letting it grow. But it is something in the lore that's kind of been teased, and yeah, I would just like a little bit more on it. It was really cool to finally see it probably here. Now, I know it's kind of mentioned in the Samoa map as well, but you know what I mean. Having a bit of a story relevance to it is a really cool sight. And, of course, before I go too far ahead, the Arcology. Yeah, it's really, really cool to see this place. I'm hoping that we probably get the Arcology next year as a map, and we get more stuff with it then. It is really cool to see it, and I was surprised to see it at this point. However, this is probably the biggest lore place left that we haven't gone to in the Overwatch world, so really wouldn't be surprised if they try to make it work next year. The Arcology is a pretty huge place, but I would love specifically this underwater museum to be one of the points on it. Or if it is kind of like a capture map or kind of any kind of map, not even really Flashpoint, but, you know, maybe Control, I think it would be really cool to have one of the points be this underwater area, and then another control map being kind of the main lobby, and then another control map being maybe the science wing or one of the science wings, because this place is so huge. That's kind of the beauty of everything with the Arcology. There is a lot of stuff you can do with it. This is a place where a lot of the god AIs that were captured after the crisis are held, but it's also a place where scientists from across the globe kind of meet up. So I wouldn't be surprised if when this becomes a map, we get to see all these different little places. Because, man, this place could probably be 2 or 3 maps in and of itself, and I wouldn't mind. So, lastly, I guess I'll kind of focus on this for a little bit. The idea of the relics. Now, I've talked about this already earlier with Domina and Doomfist, but I might as well highlight it a bit more. It seems that Vishkar is still trying to get Lifeweaver's BioLite technology. Now, this is something we knew they were trying to do for a while, but seeing Domina get involved in really trying to get it kind of reflects the in-game interactions the two have, but also shows just how desperately they want it. Now, this could be mainly a Domina thing, but also, I feel like this could all tie to Symmetra and maybe seeing this storyline finally move forward. Because we have Venture involved in this plotline now, maybe it's finally time that we get to see this plotline move forward with the conspiracy involved. Venture's a character that I feel like you could connect to a lot of different characters to kind of drag them all into one storyline. But, yeah, we do know the founder of Vishkar has passed away in some unknown accident. We do know it was some kind of car crash, but we don't know who did it or what exactly happened with it. Now, I've had the theory for a while that the conspiracy is kind of involved with it, and since Venture's here with Lifeweaver, that's the connection we can get to get Venture and Lifeweaver involved with Soldier and Sombra. The relics themselves are something that I think is going to be important, mainly for what Doomfist plans to do with them, like I said before, but yeah. I thought I'd just bring up how this could all be connected to the conspiracy real quick, because there are a lot of ways that could tie it all in. And that's pretty much most of my thoughts. It was really cool to see the arcology in this new way, and this story doesn't really have a ton of new lore, just fun little drawbacks and little ties. This is mainly a character story for Pride, which I think was pretty well done. The first Venture Adventure story I thought was a little lacking in terms of being a Pride story. It felt a little bit too, what's the word? Like, kind of just out there, or just kind of existing. But with this one, there's a lot more of a focus on it. I do think if we start getting Venture Adventure comics, maybe every other year for Pride, that could be really fun. This is a series that I would love to see continue, and maybe we could get some more confirmations for characters in this as well. But anyways, that's all from me. Like I said, kind of a shorter one, kind of something I just want to make really quick and kind of get your guys' thoughts on. What did you enjoy with this one? Did you enjoy Venture's Adventures like I did, or were you hoping for something a little meatier? Do you like the new character we got introduced, and do you like where they're taking Lifeweaver as well? And what are your hopes for the conspiracy if this has anything to do with that? Anyways, that's all from me, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye!